Hey guys, another Moist Critical reaction. Let's make this quick.
I've made quite a lot of content covering fast food freakouts where entitled stupid customers have an absolute meltdown and go on a rampage over trivial problems with their order.
I mean, that's basically what the entire Karen trend was. Just people finding something to complain about and doing it in the most over-the-top and extreme way possible, leading to some fakes, but that's aside from the point.
And they range from like goofy and silly to downright sad and tragic. Like
Yeah.
the time a guy shot two Subway workers, killing one of them because they put too much mayonnaise on his sandwich. This evil, smooth-brain idiot actually took someone's life because they went a little heavy on a condiment. Jesus Christ. Mayonnaise may not be an instrument, but it was a death sentence for this worker, unfortunately. It's beyond tragic, and what's even sadder is just how common these kind of responses are in the fast food industry. That is far from the only case of someone losing their life to something super stupid like too much mayonnaise. And I know I've talked about that story in particular before and many others like it, and today I want to talk about another situation that happened a couple days ago, and this one has a whole video for it. And this video is shocking. Like, this is more shocking than the Into a Darman film.
Okay, I'm nervous for this. People are so bored in their normal everyday lives that they just try and start an issue out of nothing for a little bit of excitement. That's not the way to make your life interesting. Let's be real, most of these people probably have some sort of mental illness. I mean, how can you not when you do something so heinous? Anyways.
It had my eyes wider than the first time I gazed upon a bare breast. It has so much going on over something so little. So I'll quickly give you the lore here, the motivation behind what you're about to see, so you can watch this video in a pure state of bewilderment over the reaction to something so insignificant. A customer goes into a restaurant late a couple nights ago and he orders chicken and waffles as well as fish and coleslaw. He is served and even appreciates the food, he eats it, and then leaves. He comes back 45 minutes later and says he actually wanted chicken wings instead of chicken tenders, and demands that they whip him up a fresh batch of chicken wings in order to satiate his gluttony. Well, the store's 5 minutes to closing, and they say that's not really, on the table here, that's not really in the cards, we're about to close, so we can't do that. The person in charge of the restaurant even offers a refund, which is beyond generous. This guy's a f***ing saint to even be offering a refund even though he ate what he ordered and then came back to make a big hullabaloo over nothing. So he offers the refund and then just asks for the card that was used to pay for it so that way he could, give the money back.
Yeah, that's more than you deserve. In my opinion, you deserve a get the f*** out, and that's it. I wish restaurants in the US didn't suck up to these entitled ass so much.
However, he noticed that there was a bag with chicken wings in it, but it was another customer's order whom was going to be served those chicken wings. And this f***ing sets him off and leads to everything you're about to see in this video. I know the story I just told you is riveting. It's like a fucking Dr. Seuss book, and it actually happened. That is the motivation from everything I've read on the story behind this huge blow up here. Obviously, we're coming into the action after the first quarter here, so they're already in a bit of a scuffle. So we get to see him like lunging over the counter multiple times, grabbing like the payment processing unit, like fucking ripping it off, and then when he's unsuccessful there and falls off the counter, he runs to the door and rips it off the hinges.
What? I mean, don't get me wrong, this is a completely unacceptable reaction, and it's blown way out of proportion, but this isn't really that different from a lot of the stuff I see on World Star Hip Hop. There's a lot of stuff like this. It just looks like a classic World Star video.
This man came in here with stupid strength, so he takes the door, rips it off the hinges almost effortlessly.
Wait, hold on. How did that not compute to me? How did he rip, like, a solid steel door off its hinges? What? Did he like put all his weight on it and just hang or something? Dang, that is scary. They are. I mean, they say stuff about angry strength, but this guy has it in spades.
As if he was like ripping a piece of paper. I imagine it had to just be all of the adrenaline because he's not that big of a guy. So he probably tore like half of his muscles in his arms just pulling that off so easily. Or maybe this is just how he powers up, like Popeye with his spinach. This guy, when he doesn't get his chicken wings, he goes into like fucking Superman mode. He becomes like some kind of invincible fucking Hulk.
Oh, dang. The worker's not taking it. Oh, holy crap. Oh,
now the restaurant worker is fighting back. He brings out like some kind of police baton, almost. I don't exactly know what it is, but he's got the stick out now, and he's ready to get a little crazy with it. So he chases him out there and starts like whacking him with it like he's swatting a fly.
I'm sorry, that looks like one of those things that they use to like whip horses with to make them go. The fact that he just had that casually in a restaurant for some reason is hilarious to me. Like, why do you have that? If it was a baton, that I guess that makes sense, you know, for like self-defense. Maybe stuff like this happens a lot, which is sad. But a horse whip, whatever that thing's called. I don't know why that's so funny to me.
The goofball customer also tries to use that Dory ripped off as some kind of weapon, so he tries to like almost swing it like a baseball bat there for a second before realizing it was way too heavy for that, and also the guy hits him with the stick, and then they go to the ground, so we get into the ground and pound phase of the boss fight.
Imagine like describing this to one of your friends. Oh yeah, this guy didn't get his chicken fingers, so he ripped the door off its hinges. Then one of the owners came out and started beating him with a stick. Like, how can you say that with a straight face and not crack up? That is... It reminds me of, like, The Office when they're practicing CPR. I can't remember which character it is, but one of them says, oh, is he an organ donor? If so, we gotta harvest the organs immediately, and whips out a knife just out of nowhere. It's like, why do you have that in this setting? Like, there's no reason for that. And I mean, the knife's not that weird, but it's like, he had it strapped to his leg for some reason. Why do you have that in this situation, you know? Oh, he runs away.
Oh, my style. He didn't know.
Oh, was that his phone? Not the guy who threw it his phone. The guy that was throwing the temper tantrum.
He did not do that. Oh.
Honestly, the guy who's throwing the temper tantrum kind of looks like the lead singer of Korn.
Oh, gosh.
The restaurant worker won on the ground game, I believe, and then even gets to claim his prize of the douchebag's phone, so he takes it and smashes it.
Oh,
Much
yes.
to the dismay of the camera guy, he seemed like personally offended that this f***ing phone got smashed. The way he acts makes it sound like he's stunned that such a dishonorable move was pulled during such an honorable fight. He's like, oh my goodness, now you've crossed a line. Everything up until this point was all good manners and by the book, textbook Knight's Honor Code, and then you go and smash his phone. A despicable display of sportsmanship. Like, what the f***? The dude deserved to have his phone smashed bare minimum, at the very least.
Yeah.
Like, that was absolutely par for the course.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not where this stops. There's no audio here, so I'll just go ahead and tell you what you're looking at.
What
It is the fucking guy crashing his company tow truck into the building and then scooting away. So he zooms on out of there, peels out. Now, of course, I'm no expert here, but using the company car to commit a crime is probably a pretty fucking dumb idea.
Yeah.
Not that he was making good decisions before then either. But that has to be one of the most identifiable things you could possibly be driving in order for people to track you down.
Yeah, well, I mean, like you said, we've clearly established that this guy is probably got only one brain cell left, if that.
The f***ing company tow truck, of all things, and he blasts it into the side of the building here, and then gets out. He gets the f*** out. What's crazy, though, is that he still hasn't been found. Despite the company tow truck being identified, the actual person, has still, as of right now of me recording this, hasn't been arrested for it or anything. How is that possible? There's a lot of damage to the tow truck itself, and I don't think he owns the business, because if he did, I doubt he'd be using his fucking tow truck as a damn missile. Like, whoever owns that business should have probably noticed by now that, wow, this tow truck's pretty fucked up. Well, what happened to it? And then, dots start getting connected, like, holy shit, my employee is that absolute menace that was just on the news for crashing a tow truck into the side of a restaurant. Well, not even the side, into the front door of a restaurant. Like, I don't know how we're at this stage where this guy is still getting away with it 2 days later.
Okay, yeah, what I was saying before, just another World Star hip-hop clip, I take that back. This guy went above and beyond, even, what's usually considered the worst of the worst. So, congratulations? I don't know. I don't know whether to congratulate him or condemn him. How about I do both? You are incredibly good at being stupid.
The customer ripped the door off its hinges.
Grabbing the door, trying to come inside the store with the door.
They tussled outside the restaurant before the angry customer ran, but it wasn't over yet.
He jumped in his tow truck, then he slashed the whole building with his truck.
We're living in a day and age where we can get multiple angles of pretty much anything that happens out in the world, so we get a deeper look at what happens outside of the store here, as well as seeing the entire situation with the tow truck going right into the building. We've got, the Instagram angle from just boots on the ground guy who's there in person filming it on his phone, and then we have the security camera footage in order to give us the other side here, so we can catch every little detail, which is fantastic, very cinematic. And I think the coverage here is very important because it does point out exactly what I just said about the company tow truck, but it sheds more light on exactly how he's evading authorities right now, and it's very surprising.
It appears there was a passenger in the truck at the time, and despite the heavy damage to the front end, the angry customer drove away. Now, the truck had a logo on it, a solid lead, right?
The towing truck companies, sometimes they lent their trucks to each other.
So, he says police told him that doesn't identify the driver.
I mean, yeah, it doesn't have the driver's name on the side of the truck or anything. It's not like he had a flag that he was flying that said, here's who I am, or anything. But if you do a little, investigating, I feel like it should be easy, right? There'd be a paper trail of lending a f***ing tow truck to another tow truck company or another person, right? There would absolutely be some kind of documentation on where this tow truck went if it was lent out. At least I would assume. Again, I'm not a expert, but I can't imagine it's that difficult. That is one of the most identifiable things he could have been driving. Like, it really can't be that hard to figure out where this tow truck came from, who lent it, and who did it get lent to. It should be a pretty easy trail to follow, I would guess. But maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking about it too naively. That's very possible as well. But this is just such a wild situation all over chicken wings. Well, and it's not like he didn't get served food either. Like, it's not even that he's hangry, right? It's not even like it's not you when you're hungry type situation. The dude ate a full meal, chicken tenders, waffles, fish, and coleslaw, but then wanted wings instead. So he already had a full tummy, his belly was stuffed, but he just wanted some more, and they were like, hey man, it's about to close, how about no? And that's what set all this off. Wildness. And what's even wilder is not too long ago we had another situation where a woman crashed her car into a Popeyes because they were missing the biscuits from her order.
You see, this is something I see a lot with stupid people, with people who can't either articulate themselves or dumb people in general, because they can't communicate properly what they're thinking, so they just resort to violence. It's just like the Sneeko situation. A guy who had shots fired at him and physically cannot fire back because of his small brain, so he resorted to threats and potential actions of violence.
So she threw her life away over some missing biscuits. There's no video footage of this one that exists. However, in my head, I picture it like Gears of War 3 when Dom crashes his vehicle into like the explosive that destroys some of the locusts. Like, she just leans her head back, like as she's about to crash into the restaurant, and she just thinks to herself, this is worth it. The biscuits are worth it. as it all just explodes in front of her here at the Popeyes where she's crashing her car into because of the biscuits being absent. Point is, fast food work is dangerous.
Indeed.
All types of unhinged lunatics enter these establishments and go berserk. And this is just another case of that happening, and this one just happened to have video footage around it, so I wanted to talk about it a bit. That's really about it. I'm wishing the best for the restaurant workers as well as just the entire establishment. Hopefully it can get back to 100% soon, and whoever was responsible for it gets held accountable. That's about it. See ya.
Yep, and that's about it for this video. Well, wow, it's pretty bad. I was not I was expecting, like, you know, the public freak out, like what happened at the Waffle House or whatever. I was not expecting the tow truck. I still find that funny of how the guy got mad and started tearing up the store because he didn't get his chicken wings. So he ripped the door off its hinges and ran outside. Then the owner, or whatever, store employee, ran after him and started beating him with a stick. I don't know why I find that so funny, especially describing it in that way. I just do. Leaving out so much context that it just sounds silly and it leaves a lot of interpretation open. Like, you can imagine it as the employee getting a stick and going out and spanking him with it like a child. But yeah, I wish the best to the store owner. I'm not, like, you know, it's happened, and being sad about it's not going to do any good, so it's just better to embrace it and, you know, be able to have a laugh about it. But yeah, that was a good video. I'm glad I watched that, especially on I was about to say on stream because I thought about streaming this before, but I decided to record instead. But yeah, that's it for this video. Like, subscribe, you know, all that bull crap. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.